find that sometimes in the rapid pace of change these days, it is more challenging to stay centered and not get stressed out. Anyone? Well, I certainly find that. That's because there's a shift taking place on the planet. And you heard, those of you who were here Thursday night, heard Greg Braden talk about the shift. But there really is a transformational shift. And in that shift, we are shifting. Each one of us is shifting. And if we don't shift with it, we shift against it. And what is that shift? Where are we going? And I'm going to offer you another view of what I've come to learn and why I got involved with HeartMath through Dr. Childry when he gave me some ideas of what this shift could be. So the Global Coherence Initiative framework, or model of change, that we are scientifically testing these hypotheses and proving out, is that individual coherence, and we'll talk about what that means, leads to social coherence, which collectively leads to global coherence, which makes it easier for more individuals to get coherent, heart coherent, which makes it more easy for groups in society to become that way, which adds to the planetary field environment of global coherence in an upward spiral, or iterative feedback loop. That's the science we want to plug into that's going to help us transform and shorten that journey from head to heart for us individually and collectively. So we have some challenges though. Right now you can look at the life around us and inside of us and say, well, there's a lot of incoherence going on. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of chaos. Globalization and technology development itself has linked us all closer together, so that's made the type of instant media stress announcements that we get daily possible, right? And that makes terrorism into the hands of unmanaged people much more possible. And that makes economic crisis, because it's all economically linked now through banking institutions, through the internet possible, as well as the other issues we've seen. And planetary stress waves are a result. Every time you see a media broadcast of a terrorist incident or a typhoon that's just killed billions of people and they think it's global warming behind it, it creates what inside you? A feeling of stress. And multiply that by the billion people watching that on their iPhones or on their Blackberries or on their internets or on their televisions. That's a planetary stress wave. That really reverberates and goes out. So these are some of the challenges that we have facing us. However, we have a huge opportunity. I don't believe we're given these challenges without also being given the key to what the opportunity is. And the opportunity we call coherence. This is a physics term, it's a psychological term. Dr. Roland McCready will be talking more about that this afternoon, the scientific aspects of coherence. We're going to talk more about what this means to us and the tools to build it this morning. But individual coherence, as we build that inside ourselves and find that state within, actually improves our health, our mental and intuitive clarity, and our resilience, even in stressful times. Because what we need these days is more resilience. Resilience is the ability to be prepared and that buoyant energy so that the stressful information, the stressors don't get to us, right? So that those days you're feeling full of vitality and in your heart and loving and you hear some bad news, you know how to deal with it from more poise. You don't get whacked as much emotionally. But those days where our energy's drained, we're tired, we're cranky, we hear all this news, it just drags up all the old associations and fears, right? That's just human beings. That's how human psychology functions. So if we can develop individual coherence and build coherence, increase our coherence baseline, we can build more resilience so we bounce back quicker and we can ride a wave more readily. And so social coherence, which we'll talk about some tools for that too, brings better communication for our families, between each other, our workplaces, and teamwork, and that increases our social impact. How many of you are involved in some type of social service or social cause group or something to help others in a group form? A lot of you. How many of you at times find whether maybe not in this situation, but in the past, that sometimes people come together for a goodwill cause, but the communication is so dysfunctional that you wonder what you're doing there. It's not worth it, and you feel drained, that you're fighting anybody, a lot of people, everyone's laughing. This is a big, big problem. We have so many people coming together now to try to do something environmentally, politically, socially, and there's so much incoherence within the team or group, let alone the workplaces, that is actually creating stress waves. We have to do something about that, and we can. That's what social coherence is about. And then global coherence is created by coherent individuals and groups, and collectively we create a field environment. We'll be talking more about that, and impact that is more productive and effective. But that brings greater coherence into the Earth's field, which can really facilitate positive change and accelerate things. So these next few years, we can see the possibility of tremendous heart awakening. We can see, oh, this is how it could happen. Because when you look around now, you go, how's anything going to change positively in 2 or 3 or 4 years' time? Not that it's going to be the end-all and be-all, but just a shift to seeing a larger number, a critical mass of people awaken in the heart and practicing heart-based living, which is what a lot of people predict can happen out of this chaos, is going to need some real powerful laser-like solutions. So that's what we're going to provide and talk about some tools that can help us do that.